engineers who created new technologies and far-flung businesses based in Paris, as well as to those magnificent men and women who added excitement and adventure to the Paris scene by piloting some of the era's earliest automobiles and flying machines. This did not mean that the leading lights of the previous century had somehow stepped aside. Sadly, Edouard Manet and Berthe Morisot had departed, and Zola was about to make his dramatic exit. But Monet and Renoir continued to paint for wealthy collectors, and Sarah Bernhardt soldiered on, reaping accolades and gamely entertaining the troops during World War I, despite her recently acquired wooden leg. Gustave Eiffel, disgraced in the aftermath of the Panama Canal scandal, would keep his word and never build another bridge or tower. But his experiments in radio communications and aerodynamics would keep him fruitfully active for the rest of his long life. Claude Debussy, after 2 decades of battling traditionalists, was about to emerge as a giant on the music scene, while Georges Clemenceau would eventually cap a rollercoaster career in politics by stepping in at the age of 76 to lead his country to victory in war. These years, from 1900 for more than a decade, were remarkable ones, remembered in the Great War's aftermath as the Belle Epoque. They were years of extraordinary achievement in almost every field of endeavor, marked by a dizzying sequence of breakthroughs. Yet they were also years of shadows, and those shadows were growing longer as war approached, a cataclysm that tested the mettle of the City of Light, even as it brought the end of an era. Chapter 1. Enter the King. 1900. It was mid-October 1900 in the City of Light when Pablo Picasso arrived from Barcelona at Paris's bustling new railroad station, the Gare d'Orsay. He was almost 19 years old and filled with bravado. After all, the Spanish pavilion at the Paris Exposition of 1900 had included one of his paintings in its exhibit. What a coup! And what a way to make his entrance into Paris! Scrawling on a self-portrait soon after learning that he would be making the trip, Picasso had euphorically written, "I, the King." Not once, but 3 times. It would prove to be amazingly accurate. He arrived with his best friend, Carles Casagemas, an aspiring artist and poet who was similarly yearning to experience the Paris art scene and its famed bohemian life. The exposition was due to close on November 12th, giving the young men little time to dally if they intended to see it. Millions that centennial year had already flocked to the Paris Exposition, which featured a virtual explosion of the newest and the most breathtaking, including its Palace of Electricity, which was gloriously illuminated by night, and an electrically powered moving sidewalk that magically carried hordes of delighted and possibly footsore visitors around the left bank portion of the exposition. This World's Fair, like its predecessors, was meant to overawe. And it succeeded, much to the pleasure of the 50 million visitors who crowded into its acres of amusement and education for the months from April through early November. Fantasy, futurism, and the exotic flourished there. But if there was a single style in architecture and decoration that prevailed, it was Art Nouveau, or what by then was referred to in Paris as le style Musha, named after the Czech artist whose late 1890s posters of Sarah Bernhardt had set off a frenzy in the decorative arts. Alphonse Mucha had survived years of poverty as a lackluster artist in Paris before unexpectedly creating something entirely new and vibrant when opportunity and emergency combined. Sarah Bernhardt wanted a new theatrical poster at an awkward time, and, like the diva she was, she wanted it immediately. There was no one else to do it,